I'm in packaging, just 34 years. Still, I'm not an expert in packaging as well. But I'm excited to be here for 3 reasons. Number one, we have industry, faculty, researchers, and young students. Today, very importantly, what happens in India? Industry comes to academia research because of very few reasons, not the real reasons. One reason is getting skilled manpower. Number two, because some of the skilled manpower, or you already studied there, your obligations to the institute, and hence you come. Willingly or unwillingly, you give some sort of a support. Beyond that, it doesn't go. Because if you look at some of the Western countries, I'm trying to give some case studies so that can it be made an exciting journey? A lot of times, if you look at the faculty or student of graduation, post-graduation, and PhD student, and the faculty. So I always say that when faculty takes the topic to give it to the researcher, graduation, post-graduation, or PhD, they generally go to the comfort zone. They do literature survey to understand how easily you should do the research, rather than trying to find out what is a real challenge in industry and can that be taken as a topic for the student. And once you are trying to get something where you are trying to address the industry problem, then industry can come to you. Now, interestingly, a lot of times the faculties are measured based on the papers they publish or patents they file. Now, if I'll give some of the case studies, how interesting it can be, where you will get all. You will get excellent patents, you will get very high quality papers, as well as you are trying to solve the industry problem and industry will come to you to get the solution. And doing the same thing what you are doing, rather than being in a comfort zone, if you are able to go a little away from the comfort zone and try to see that. So with this, I will just show my presentation. Yeah, if it is okay, I'll just run 2-3 minutes in terms of talking about the packaging and what packaging can do. And before that, I just wanted to thank the organizer and Dr. Kanchan also for being a part of me coming here. I was trying to escape, but it could not happen. I think we know that did not allow me to do that. It was I was time pressed. So with this, if you look at the packaging, if you go to the mall and today you see, you will not see food or anything, you will see packages. And they say first impression is very, very important. And if you miss the first impression, it's very difficult to change the impression. So if you look at the packaging, if you take any food product, you make the food product for 2 purposes, your own consumption and in marketing. Marketing, nothing but direction of goods from where you produce to the consumer. And packaging is means of ensuring safe delivery of this produce to the consumer, that's all. Beyond that, there is nothing. So optimum packaging is very, very important. And packaging also affects each and every part in the business. It can be production, purchase, product development, marketing, and all that. So I'm not going in details of this, but packaging does the basic functions of containing, protect, perform, and communication. Don't get worried. I'm not going to give you all the textbook things. So what is containing? Holding product together within and preventing the entry conditions. And also here comes the food grade packaging material. Now coming to protection against the moisture, oxygen, and light. So this is general because you should start from the known and go to unknown. And protection against different hazards. Can be mechanical, vibration, and compression. So these are basic things of the packaging you should do. But today, the world is changing. And when world is changing, we need to change yourself and look at the business of active and smart packaging. So some of you may be interested, and most of us want to be either active or smart rather than being a normal one. So I'll just introduce what is active packaging and what is a smart packaging and what is the gap in active and smart packaging in the food business or food packaging business, and how we address or we are trying to address these issues. Now, what is mean by active packaging? Normal packaging functions, you are saying it should protect, it should not allow the product to spill and all that sort of things. In active packaging, what you are doing, you are trying to do actively something, either you are adding in the headspace or in the packaging material to do something extra. If there is some sort of oxygen, you want to remove oxygen. If you want to add carbon dioxide, you should add carbon dioxide. If you want to add antimicrobiological compound instead of food, you can add into the packaging material and do that additional thing so that you get extra shelf life. Now, coming to intelligent and smart packaging system, it should go one step ahead, in the sense, rather than just interacting, it should be able to communicate to the consumer, telling that whether the quality of food is good or not. I'll give some of the case studies, and who is the moderator, please, as a professor or teachers, we have a tendency of exceeding the time. Please remind us just 3-4 minutes before, so that we are in track. Otherwise, I don't want to encroach anybody's area. Now, coming back to the things. In this packaging system also, there are two types. That is independent system and incorporated system. What is meant by independent system? In the food packaging, in packaging material, if you want to do something, you add in the form of a sachet, or you can put a strip, or it can put a label. That's all. Just you are keeping along with that. With a lot of food products or even electronic goods, you will see some sachets. They are oxygen scavengers, that sort of a sachets. This is actively doing something. That means oxygen is coming, it is creating problem. So before it reacts with the product, this particular sachet reacts and removes the oxygen. So this is an independent system. But a lot of times this has the limitations, so you can incorporate into the packaging system itself. This is called as a in-package system. Now coming back to the application where this can be applicable. Now you see, if you look at the fruits and vegetables, they get spoiled because of ethylene. And ethylene, if you remove, you can increase the shelf life. So ethylene scavenger. Or a lot of times food gets spoiled because of the microbiological contamination, and it is a surface phenomenon. Instead of adding the microbiological compound in the food and eating, which is not required, I put it into the packaging material, and when it comes in contact with the food, it migrates on the surface and it can reduce the microbiological growth. Or it can be in terms of some places you need to remove carbon dioxide, some places you need to add carbon dioxide, that also can be done. Or it can be oxygen scavenger, as I said. These are some of the areas where you can use. Now, please look at this. Whenever you are trying to do research, you try to understand the problem. That's what, even for PhD, I am sure Anna University also PhD, they give 5 years? 3 years, minimum 3 years, you can go up to 5 years. And how many papers are required? 2 papers, or 1 patent and 1 paper. Now to publish 2 papers, do you need 3 to 5 years? You don't need 3 to 5 years. You need hardly maybe 1 year. Some of them are so good, in 1 year, 5-6 papers they will publish. Now why this time is given? This time is given for you to understand the problem. Which area you want to do the research, please understand the problem. You do literature survey. We do literature survey. We do patent search. Also you should do a commercial available products globally. And get all of them together. Get the product also with you and try to find out what is the gap. If you are able to understand what is the gap, but then can you work in that gap? That is where you are trying to look. I will just give an example of oxygen scavenging systems. How that can be a good area to research and how to get whatever aims you are doing. You want to get good paper, you want to get good paper, patent, you want to get industry working with you. So, what is the problem? As you know, when you take any food, when oxygen comes in contact with the food, there is oxidation taking place and the shelf life of food comes down. And if you want to increase chips also, if you want to increase the shelf life, you remove oxygen. Don't allow oxygen to react, it can increase the shelf life. Now, in the process, if you don't do that, there are losses, food losses. It will short shelf life. In the process, you can do what? What you are doing in terms of modified atmosphere packaging. Remove oxygen, put nitrogen. But there also has a limitation. What are the limitations? Limitations, you cannot go beyond a particular oxygen level reduction. And also, the packaging material what you need to use, it has to be a very good barrier material which adds to the cost. Now, if you go for an oxygen scavenging system, what it does, it can scavenge the oxygen much faster. Why it should scavenge? Because that is also chemical reaction. You are putting two chemicals. The one chemical which reacts faster, the oxygen is taken by that reaction. So you need to find out the chemical or sort of a compound which reacts faster than food, so that food will not get oxygen and it can increase the shelf life. This is a simple thing. Now what happens in the system? And as I'm not going into statistics, globally, this particular business is growing faster and more so in Indian context. Because in India, the base level itself is very low in terms of oxygen scavenger, and then hence the growth is faster. Now what is a prior art? What is happening across the globe in the oxygen scavenging system? For you, some of you may be very difficult areas to understand what is scavenging, but I'm trying to give a context when you want to do a research, what you need to do and how it gets to the next level. Now if you look at all type of oxygen scavengers, you will see metal based, it can be enzyme based, polymer based, or it can be ascorbic based or photosensitive dyes. And most of them, 90% of this material is only in the research level. And more than 90% of the oxygen scavengers are metal based. And it has its own limitations. What are the limitations? It has a very low scavenging ability. It doesn't scavenge much. It's a chemical base. And also because of this, there are regulatory issues. And it cannot use this scavenging at all environmental conditions. You need a high oxygen level. High moisture level. And because of this, there are limitations. Hence, can you address this? How can you see this from the research point of view? Now, these are commercially available. You will see this in a lot of electronic goods or food products also, they have put it. Now and this is one where incorporated into the film, which has a very, very limited use. Now, what is issues? That is where the research comes. As I said, environmentally it is not safe. When the scavenging is done, it goes to the environment and creates the problem. Number two, the chemical base coming in contact with food creates the problem for health also. They are not food grade materials. Can be very toxic in some cases, some of the materials. And it doesn't have a gross status and cost is very high. Now, can I address all these issues and try to get something which can give me delta? What is meant by delta? Whatever is existing, at least I should have 3 to 4 differentiations. Then only this particular product can have chances of succeeding in the commercialization. So what we are trying to do, see, basically iron-based materials are used. So we are trying to get a material, a normal simple rubber. I'm just telling you the example. Take a rubber, activate, rubber is very cheap, maybe 50 rupees a kilo, and it's environmental friendly. Treat this with a particular food grade compound, and this does the scavenging at least 10 times faster and more efficiently than this. Now what we have done, we are trying to understand what is happening, what is the chemistry happening there. And by this process, you are getting an environmental friendly food grade material. What does this do? You will get an excellent patent. You will have an international patent as well as Indian patent. One job is done. Once you have that patent, what you are trying to do? You are going to do the studies with the existing best possible oxygen scavengers and put that along with your material and do the studies. What happens at the end? You have newer material. You get an excellent publication. This is an impact factor, it's not very high, but it's around 9, 8.7 or something. And because it has a uniqueness, it is supported by patent and you get a cover page also. ACS journal cover page is a good prestigious one. So you get a patent. Now the interesting part, not only patent, not only paper, but you have a unique product. What we do, somebody is supplying you oxygen scavenger. He is in the business. What you are doing? I will supply 200 quantity to him. He says, gentlemen, I am giving free to you. You just check this material with the existing material what you are selling. Now he is selling it for 2 rupees. I am giving this, he can make it for 50 paisa. And having at least 2 times better efficiency than the existing one. What happens? He will say that, okay, you produce this, cost of production is also not very high, and the amount of margin you are going to make is high. So what is happening in the process? You are getting connected with industry, you are having patent, you are getting industry commercialization, and hence you are trying to address the issues. Now, why I am giving this example, you look at any industry, identify the problems what the industry is facing. And see, the best part in research, because 34 years I have spent, generally people don't ask questions in terms of commercial viability. And papers, any junk also you can produce as a paper. A lot of times, more than 70-80% papers are not really good quality, it's easily. So hence, don't be worried about failures. We are worried about failures. If it doesn't work, what? It doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. I have taken projects with the startups. A startup has paid more than 80 lakh of rupees, and I told him, 90% of the chances are there that it will fail. He says, you have guts to tell, I will work with you. So that is where the openness you should see. In the research, if everything is successful, that means you are doing a predictable research. So you will not get the required output to compete globally. That is very, very important. Another example I will give you. Now you have seen here, in oxygen scavenger, you are trying to get something which can give a better efficiency, environmental friendly. But still it has a problem. What is the problem it has? It is in the sachet form. It can break, it can fall with the food and then creates the problem. We said that, can we solve this? And also whenever you take these oxygen scavengers, you have to keep it in the vacuum pack. It should not come in contact with oxygen or it start scavenging. So what we have done, a simple thing, we incorporated same thing into the film. And when you incorporate it into the film, and whenever you want to scavenge the oxygen, you just expose these to particular alpha ray or some sort of a UV rays, and from that time onwards it starts scavenging. This can do a lot of good things. What you are seeing, the sachets across all the food products or electronic goods, that can be totally eliminated. So instead of sachet, I'll put it into the film itself, and when you want to get it, you activate it and then you put it there. So this has a huge potential. So this also, now normally you just see the bread. When you eat the bread, actually you are not eating the bread, but you are eating lot and lot of additives or preservatives. And a lot of times we have a tendency, whatever is permitted, we are not sure with that permitted one will give the extended shelf life. We put double or triple also. And hence, you will have problems. So here, without putting preservatives in the food, I put the oxygen scavenger or some compound in the packaging material itself. I will get a similar shelf life as if you have put a preservative into it. So you are having a food product which is preservative free. You are replacing the scavenging material into the film. And the best part is, the cost of the film also gets reduced, because if you take a film like PP or LDP, it will cost you per kg 150 rupees. Rubber is 50 rupees. Even if you put 5% or 10%, marginally at least you are reducing the cost, and hence there is no additional cost also. So here, what I am trying to see, put a delta. Can you be competitive enough in the market and do the research in that direction? Then it can take you to the next level. So as I said, even though if you put it into the film also, you will get a patent, because nobody has done it, and it's a very unique one. And then once again you get a paper. This is this little higher impact factor paper where you 10 point something impact you get. So trying to understand, when you have a good quality input, the output also will be good in terms of patent, in terms of technological application, or also in terms of paper. So please orient, don't take, I always tell that, don't give your student any topic because somebody has done some work. Give the topic where the industry is facing problem. It can be very small, it can be very big, or it can be a part of that problem. But if you do in part and pieces, then put together, it can give a good result in the whole process. Now coming back to the ethylene scavenger, another problem in fruits and vegetables. Now you see, interesting part here in India, all these scavenging materials are actually having a health hazard, because we are not producing here, FSSAI also doesn't give any regulation on it. So you cannot produce here, but you can import. So that is where the problem. But if you are able to solve the problem, now ethylene scavenger, globally, KMNO4 based ethylene scavengers are there. And when KMNO4 also is toxic if it is consumed beyond a particular level. So globally there is an issue. They say that if there is no alternate, what are you going to do? So now we have got a good alternate where you will get a normal industrial waste, and that industrial waste can do equal or better scavenging compared to the chemical base. And we have gone one step ahead. I am not supposed to write there because it is under patent, edible material. You can eat that material when it is scavenging ethylene. And then we are trying to, why I am telling this, the chemical process, it has a specific chemical reaction, it takes place, and we are trying to, now look at it, why I am telling this, this has a specific purpose. Because this is a unique chemical process, it can be published at a very high impact factor. We are trying even Nature also. Because there is a process where there is a uniqueness that nobody has seen that particular chemical process happening before, and hence there are chances that this, of course, will be patented, and also it can be published in a very high impact factor. And as you know, in universities, if your paper is one in page, maybe Nature or something, at least CSIR system, there is no normal system of promotion. You are directly promoted to the next level. So I am sure university also can consider you, if you publish paper in Nature, where impact factor is 30, 35, definitely. So I am not trying to focus, your focus is not to publish paper in that journal, but you have a material, you have a sort of a research which can demand or it can have the merit to get it there. So hence, need to address the problems, here you can do it that way. So this also published at good impact factor journal. So that is where I am trying to see here. This is also on the cover page. A lot of times in the lifetime people try to get particularly ACS journals, chemistry people who are chemistry, they say it's a very prestigious journals with 10 plus impact factor. Publishing itself is a prestige, and if it comes on the front page, is added to it. So hence, if you have that sort of a output, and if you are able to project yourself on that, it can happen. Now coming back to another system, I am just maybe another maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll finish it. You have seen there are fruits and vegetables, they get spoiled, and then you have seen in Ayurveda and our Indian traditional systems, there are a lot of biological compounds, bioactive compounds, and these bioactive compounds can do an excellent preservation. So what we have done, we have taken some of these bioactive compounds, we have just incorporated these bioactive compounds on paper, simple paper. You can print it whichever way you want, and keep this paper along with the fruits and vegetables, and what happens? The shelf life of the fruits and vegetables doubles. We are not doing anything. They are all biological systems, no chemicals, nothing is used. So hence, this is what we are trying to do. Now, somebody from floriculture department, now this can be done across a lot of fruits and vegetables. Floriculture department, they wanted to say export, they are from Bangalore, they export a lot of cut roses. And they say that we are facing problem. Generally in the lower temperature, if they store at maybe 7, 8 degree temperature also, they are getting only 10 to 12 days shelf life, and sometimes that is not enough. And we said that we are using this paper for fruits and vegetable. Can we change based on the spoilage organism of the flowers? Can I change the bioactive compound and repurpose the same thing for fruits and for floriculture products? And to surprise, this is working. And yesterday only we transferred a couple of technologies on this. Just keep this paper along with the normal flowers, and instead of 10 to 12 days, it will get 18 to 20 days. So what I'm trying to tell, once you are trying to address the problem and see how that problem can be converted as your research topic, then all things come in line. So you can see this increase in the shelf life. So this is also published. So now coming to the smarter system, we have only 3-4 minutes for smart systems. Now if you see, you take up milk, generally pasteurized milk you take, and it is supposed to keep it at 4-degree temperature. But generally, we never store at 4-degree. After dairy, it is produced, it is put it into open vans, and then it is transported, and there is no 4-degree. And a lot of times you will see the shelf life is for next day. Today morning 10 o'clock, if you boil it, gets spoiled because it is exposed to higher temperature. And this is a very common problem. And I get a lot of banging from my wife when I bring that packet and she says, you being a scientist, you don't know that milk is spoiled. How I know that milk is spoiled? I can read only label, right? And label says it is for tomorrow. And I said, we should do something. This is, my wife is responsible for this. So what we said, what we do is, I should know that milk is spoiled. This is simple kinetics of time temperature indicators. And then with the time temperature indicators, we have developed this indicator. If milk is fresh, it will show you green color. If it is going to spoil, it will change to orange. And it is red, it is spoiled. Now there are challenges. Is this sort of a solution available globally? Of course there are some. But what is the cost? 100 rupees to 150 rupees. Now we reduced to 5 paisa. And we talked to Amul. Amul's managing director was with us. He says, sir, we are excited. We said that we are excited and we want to show it to him. He says, how much it cost? I said, 50 paisa. Each day, 5 crore packets I produce. 5 crore into, 5 paisa I said, sorry. 5 paisa into 1 crore. 5 crore per day. I cannot do this. Can you make it less than 1 paisa? Is it possible? Now I said, okay, I don't care. I will not give it for milk. I will use for something else. So hence what I am trying, if you have a solution, need not be, you have done it for something, but it can be cross-purpose to this. I can use it for a meat product, fresh meat products. I can use it for a batter, idli dosa batter. I can use it for anywhere else. So hence, you need to understand what it is to be done, and hence, this also a patent applied, and you will also get a paper. Patent and paper both are there. So hence, you need to look at from that point of view. Same thing for juices. Some of the Tetra Pak juices, when you open, you don't know how when you have opened, so it can be applied for this. So with this, I think I will stop here. If you have any question, answer, or it is.
Do you have any questions? Please ask.
Which? Nandini is not taking. This is 5 paisa is very, very costly. Yes. 5 paisa is very costly because daily, 365 days, every day, you have pouch.
Okay.
And you add to the cost. It is adding to the cost. Till consumer demands, he says, why I should spend.
But there's no consumer demand for this?
Consumer, are you demanding?
It's an implicit demand.
Yeah, implicit demand.
Yeah.
So
5 paisa is, for a pack is, I mean.
No, that's what I
When
said.
the government increases the price, it increases by 2 rupees, 3 rupees per packet. So what's 5 paisa there?
So we are trying to connect with the private dairies. Chitale Dairy is one of them. Somebody has to take lead and say that milk, what I am taking, I know whether it is fresh or not.
Okay.
Somebody has to take lead, and if you know somebody, dairy fellow, we will give few lakh of, I'm promising you, few lakh of these stickers or indicators free of cost for them to do the trial. Because my field trial also will be done, and they'll know that what is the consumer's feedback. Generally, we do like that.
Okay.
So what we do is, for Reliance, we are doing one work.
All
So
right.
what we do, we do in the lab. So we don't stop there. We do in the lab, then we say that I will spend money on your product, you send it to the market, get the consumer's feedback. Because for me, my test trial is done free of cost. I'm not seeing my cost on it. I'm telling that my technology is validated. And if it doesn't work, it is good that I'll say that it doesn't work. Rather than just telling in my lab and saying, oh, it works for 5-10 pouches, it works, and afterwards it doesn't work. So a lot of technologies I are not listed.
Okay.
You visit my lab, you will see at least every student works on the new topic.
Beautiful.
All topics which are industry related. If it is not related to industry, there is no research in my lab.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah. See, these are all, I think this is a big topic altogether. Ban is banned. What is banned is only a single-use plastic is banned. Can you stay without touching plastic for 1 week? Impossible. So plastic per se is not banned. Trying to reduce the use of the plastic, and this is a soft target where you have single-use plastic. So it is only talking till another 5 years. We will be only talking. We will not be doing anything, because I am in FSSI. I am in also Pollution Control Board. I am there in AIS also. But I am the only man out telling that. I said, not possible. You are just talking, giving lip service. And another interesting thing, madam, I'll come to you. Another interesting thing, plastic, I don't have a plastic industry, disclosure. Plastic is a wonderful material given it to an irresponsible citizen. How many of you honestly do a proper segregation? If you do segregation, plastic has a huge value. You say that your neighbor should segregate, and if I mix it in my house, it is okay. So if you segregate, even single-use plastic is also having, milk packets you see, it gets you 10 paisa only. Or water bottle, where you see in waste. This is such a great collection center in India, people come and pick it. They'll, even the train also, they'll make you, and then whatever is left, they'll take. So it is only, plastic is not a problem, we are the problem. Yes, ma'am. It is a both way. What we do, very interesting question. It is very interesting question. What we do, there's a industry comes to us, but we poke industry to give their problems. If they come with some problems, we will explore that, what are other problems they get. And once, what we do, once they give problem, a statement. We don't ask them to sponsor. I sponsor myself, I'll make the solution ready, I'll offer first refusal to him. No money spent. First refusal. He says, you have given problem, thanks very much. I have solution, are you ready to take? He says, no, your competitor is ready. That's the latest patent, I'll tell you. It's not yet filed, so please don't disclose to anybody. Yeah, there is one company came, a big company, a supply chain company. What they have? They are using an indicator. What is that? If the supply chain is broken, if the temperature goes more than 10-degree temperature, it should indicate that this supply chain is broken. They came with the problem. My student, I said, all students are great. We cannot do anything, only you can do. All the research, all the idea generations are by them. Now what we have done, we have get that solution. They are spending 100 rupees, we have got it for less than 1 rupee, and we have changed the temperature range from 65 degree to -20. I can tailor make this particular solution to anybody. Now she has given only problem to me. I have got a solution not only for her, for across the industry. So we take problem and then do the research on it. And now we have at least 4 countries we are taking patent. We don't have that sort of solution anywhere else. But once you show to the industry that you are solving the problem, industry will search and come to you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for the engaging session. Now, I request Mr. Vipinendran, sir, to come up the stage to felicitate Professor Rajeshwar S. Matche by giving him a memento.
Honored to give this to one of
We are now moving on to our next presentation. It is my pleasure to introduce our second speaker, Mr. Rajesh Srinivasan. He is the founder of Mindful Marketing, a modern marketing and brand strategy consulting